त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तिसुदेशिकेन्द्रं द्वैपायनं सूत्रकृतं मुनीन्द्रं श्रीशङ्करं भाष्यकृतं यतीन्द्रं मद्देशिकञ्चापि नमामि विद्यै। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितप्रज्ञानगणः प्रत्यगर्तो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ॐ प्रपन्नपारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। Pranams everyone. So we are doing second chapter, first sloka. Sanjaya uvacha tam tata kripaya vishtam ashruपूर्णाकुलेक्षणं विषीदन्तमिदं वाक्यम् उवाच मधुसूदनः। तं तथा कृपया विष्टम् अश्रुपूर्णाकुलेक्षणं विषीदन्तमिदं वाक्यम् उवाच मधुसूदनः। So we saw in the first chapter, at the end of first chapter, Arjuna talked a lot, and then at the end of the outburst, he thrown away the bow and the arrows, and he gets himself seated, and his heart is pierced by sorrow. So now Bhagavan has to say something because Arjuna has stopped. So Sanjaya says, Bhagavan saw the condition of Arjuna and said the following words. So the essence of this sloka is basically, Sanjaya says to Dhritarashtra that Bhagavan spoke the following words to Arjuna, who was in a grieving state. So Sanjaya Vacha, Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, Tam tata kripaya vishtam. Tata means thus. Tata, so thus. So what has been described in chapter 1, thus. Tam here is to Arjuna. And how is this Arjuna? That is given here. The first line gives this. Kripaya avishtam. Kripaya avishtam. He is drowned by attachment. Kripa, I told you, has got many meanings. Here it has to be translated as attachment. It's not, generally Kripa is also used for compassion. And avishtam means drowned, overpowered. So he is overpowered, drowned by attachment. So Bhagavan is saying to Arjuna, who is overpowered by attachment. And how are Arjuna's eyes? Ashrupurna kulekshanam. Ashrupurna kulekshanam. Basically, Sanjaya sees two things in Arjuna's eyes. One, he sees tears. The second thing he sees in Arjuna's eyes is also sorrow. So if a person is deep in sorrow, we can recognize from their eyes. And here Arjuna's eyes are blurred with tears which are brimming. Akula means afflicted. Akula means afflicted or affected. Afflicted in sorrow. Ashrupurna. Purna means brimming. Ashru means tears. Brimming tears. And where are these? Ikshanam. Ikshanam means eyes. So eyes are afflicted with brimming tears. So eyes were tearful and blurred. What else? Vishidantam idam vakyam. So how is Arjuna's mind here? Vishidantam, grieving, in sorrow state. And idam vakyam, these following words. So these following words, which is basically the next two slokas, the next two verses. Uvacha, spoke. Who spoke that? Madhusūdanaḥ. Bhagavan Krishna basically spoke the following words to the grieving Arjuna. And Madhusūdanaḥ, as I said, it means killer of that asura Madhu. But in Vedantic terms, we can also take Madhu to be Atma, and Madhusūdanaḥ means one who shows us the Atma. So the essence or the purport of this sloka is basically, thus Bhagavan said these following words to grieving Arjuna, who was completely overpowered by attachment and whose eyes were afflicted with brimming tears. So until now, the entire first chapter, Bhagavan had kept quiet. Now he is going to talk for the first time. So sloka 2 and 3, we will do it together. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupastitam Anarya Jushtamasvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna Klaipyam Masmagamah Partha Naitatvatvyupudyate Shudram Hridaya Daurbalyam Tyaktotishta Varantapa Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupastitam Anarya Jushtamasvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna Klaipyam Masmagamah Partha Naitatvayyupapadyate Shudram Hridaya Daurbalyam Tyaktotishta Parantapa. So Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, we have already seen it. Maybe I'll just quickly do a review of what Bhagavan means. Shri, we know Shri means wealth, Lakshmi, and it also means knowledge. Bhagavan. So who is Bhagavan? Bhagavan is one who has got 6 attributes in full. So this is the meaning of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is a person who has got 6 attributes in full. Aishwaryasya samagrasya dharmasya yashasriyah jnana vairagyaschaiva shannama bhaga itirana. That is the definition of Bhagavan. Samagrasya means in full. So what are the Aishwaryasya Samagrasya? Samagrasya means in full. What is in full for Bhagavan? One who has all the 6 attributes in full is Bhagavan. Iti irana is said to be Bhagavan. What are these 6 attributes? Aishwaryasya. Aishwaryam means rulership. In Tamil we say Alumai. Ruler, one who has got subjects, one who actually has got people who will work for them. So rulership, one who is the master. Then dharmasya means punyam. So remember, everything is in full for Bhagavan. Rulership is in full, punyam is full. Then yashas means fame. Yashaha means fame. In Tamil we say pugar. Then srihi, Aishwaryasya samagrasya dharmasya yasas shriyah. Srihi means wealth. Tamil we say selvam. So Bhagavan has got full wealth. Then jnana vairagyoschaiva. Jnana means knowledge, arivu. Then vairagya, we know dispassion, basically no likes or dislikes. So all these 6 attributes are in full for Bhagavan. As for us, what about us? We also have all these 6 qualities. May not be the full 5 and 6. Jnana Vairagyam we may not have full, but even in the others, we will have some bit of it, but never in full. We will also have some bit of rulership. There will be some, we might be a boss for somebody in somewhere. Somebody will listen to us. We also have collected some bit of punyam, otherwise we wouldn't have been in this, we wouldn't have got this Manushya Janma. We have some bit of fame, people around us know us. We have some bit of wealth, Shrihi. We have some bit of knowledge and some Vairagya in certain places. But Bhagavan is one who has got all these qualities in full. So when we say Bhagavan Uvacha in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has all these qualities. Krishna has got all these qualities, and hence it is not correct for us to compare human beings with him. There is always this comparison. Was Krishna right? Or did Krishna do the right thing? I mean, we are nowhere near to be near. We are nowhere near that Bhagavan to compare him with others. So Bhagavan, Krishna Uvacha, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. And remember, now Bhagavan has to speak. The general tendency for us when we start, when somebody is in a sorrow, is basically to advise and to give them, to get them out of sorrow. We'd say certain things. So Arjuna here, he is shattered, he is kind of depressed, and he is in a deep state of sorrow. And at this state, the person would be looking for some kind of comforting words, saying, Arjuna, you are right, what you say makes sense, that kind of words. But what Bhagavan does here is, he does the opposite. He strongly criticizes Arjuna, and he uses very strong words, which in normal conditions also, normal talk also, he will not use those kind of words. A normal Arjuna will not be able to tolerate. An Arjuna in a normal situation, in a normal conversation, may not be able to tolerate these words. Imagine how it would be in this kind of a situation. Basically, Bhagavan asked Arjuna, how could he become so weak, so depressed, and that too at this critical time, at this critical juncture. And he questions, why are you behaving like a eunuch? You are unmanly. And this could be really hurting for any human being, especially if they are in sorrow, and more so if that person is a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya is known for their bravery, their strength, and to call them a weak person and to call them unmanly, that would really is very harsh. That is really harsh. So even for a normal human being, it is difficult to tolerate. And what to say of Kshatriya, and what to say of Arjuna, who was the greatest warrior at that point of time. To call him, to somebody to call him weak. Even in our fights at home or with others or whatever, when we do, we will call names, we will try to hurt the other person. At that point of time, even though it may be true what they say, it will still hurt us. Now here, Arjuna is actually not a weak person, or at least until now. And he has never been unmanly. And now he is being called all those things. So Bhagavan is really harsh on Arjuna. And further Bhagavan says in this sloka that, what you do now, it will not take you to Swarga. It will not give you any heaven. And not only that, it will give you infamy. People will say you are weak, you are afraid. And therefore, Arjuna, just get up and fight. So Bhagavan at this juncture is not making any effort to remove Arjuna's sadness. This is interesting because this is one way of addressing that problem. Nor does he give that impression to Arjuna that he has understood Arjuna's point of view, Arjuna's sorrow, Arjuna's depression. Normally we expect somebody, when we are crying, when we are depressed, we expect the other person to understand our point of view. On the contrary, here Bhagavan does not give that impression, and he does not seem to be empathetic to Arjuna's situation. So neither does he advise him, nor does he take him out of sorrow. Instead, he criticizes more. Why? Because Bhagavan had Arjuna's best interest. He was acting like his true friend. And though Bhagavan knows what the real problem of Arjuna is, and has also got the solution for Arjuna, he does not give it to Arjuna. So here is a person who is affected by sorrow, and this is the best place where Vedanta can work actually. But Bhagavan does not give the advice. Bhagavan will ultimately do that from the 11th shloka, but he does not do here. Why? We saw that in the last class. We'll just do a quick recap of what we discussed in the last class. First of all, every human being goes through sorrow. Shoka. There are no exceptions to it. Nobody can say, I have never faced any sorrow in life. And from outside, it might look as if this person is, having all the health, all the wealth, and he seems to be happy, all this kind of feeling we may get. But that is not the truth. There will be some atripti somewhere. And the fact is, we do not, when we see somebody with big house, comforts, car, money, and all those things, we think, this person should be happy. And we think that once we also attain that kind of richness, we will not need to attain anything more. Our life is over. Whatever I want to achieve in life has been achieved. But that is not the case. There is always a discontentment. Even if we get those things, we will never be contented. That is the truth. And if we realize that this is the case, that even though the other person may have house, car, wealth, and all those things, he may not be happy, or he need not be happy, or he will not be happy, or there will be some amount of discontentment in his life somewhere. If we understand this, that there is sorrow in everybody's life, we wouldn't be comparing, we wouldn't feel jealous. So everybody, throughout and at all stages of life, when we are young, there is some amount of sorrow. And then when we grow, we have another bit of sorrow, another place. So either when you're a kid, we want to, a balloon is lost, some toy is broken, we get sorrow. As we grow older, it could be like our job, our marriage, or then later on our children's health, children's marriage, then of course the parents' health, our own health, our retirement. All these things give us sorrow. Although we might also be accomplishing at the same time. We may be having house, wealth, whatever, but there is always this discontentment in one form or other. And as we go further into our mind, we also realize that it is not just discontentment, there is also jealousy in our mind, there is also anger in our mind, there is also hatred in our mind, there is pride in our mind. And all these themes seems to be present naturally. Nobody taught us these things. It has been there always. Like we discussed in 16th chapter, this Devi Sampat and Asuri Sampat are born. We are all born with some gunas already. And some people might say, I don't have any jealousy about anybody. That is, they say it because of ignorance. Because some people don't even know what is jealousy. Whenever we are comparing mentally, or even for some, look at that person. If we use that word, then there is a comparison, and that is actually a result of jealousy. And we also give some fancy names in today's world. We give some as a professional rivalry. That is another name for jealousy actually. So, and we are the best judge. When we have this feeling, whenever we don't feel good about someone else doing well, so someone else is doing well, we hear this news, and internally in our mind we are not a bit happy. Even if we feel a bit of sadness or unhappiness, then it is called as jealousy. So we are the best judge. And the feeling that I need to be admired more than the other person. I am actually need to be praised more than the other person. I need to be respected more than the other person. When we say this, when we all feel this, it's all jealousy. And the biggest problem for all of us is that this feeling that I need to be loved. I need people around to me to love me. That is also another discontentment. The feeling that I need to be loved, I need to be admired. I should have fame, people should know me. This is all samsara. So this shokam, which is sorrow, the matsaryam, which is jealousy, the lobham, which is the greed, is all samsara. And this is there for all jivas. Every one of us have this at various degrees and it comes out at various points of time. So this shoka is constant. The cause seems to be different. The cause, we say in Sanskritam, we say nimitta. Nimitta means cause. So the cause keeps changing, but the discontentment remains. As I said, when we were young, it could be a toy or a balloon that we didn't get, because of which we were sad or we had sorrow. And as we grow a little bigger, there could be a cricket bat or a bicycle that I didn't get. That is the cause of sorrow. And then later on, it could be the job or that particular person whom I couldn't get in life. That could be the cause of sorrow. So the cause of sorrow keeps changing, but sorrow remains constant. And what happens? Every time, whenever sorrow affects us, what we do? We try to change the external situations. And we try to remove the shoka. So the child is crying for balloon or an ice cream. So what do? We buy the balloon or we offer the child the ice cream. The shoka is removed, the sorrow is removed. A poor person is unhappy that he doesn't have enough money, he gets money, sorrow is removed. Because lack of money was the cause for unhappiness. Gets money, shoka is removed. The body is weak, we eat something, we retain health, shoka is removed. There is no job, we get a job, that person gets a job, shoka is removed. So how have we been able to remove our shoka? Always we have been addressing what has been the cause of sorrow, and we have been addressing them to remove our shoka. But what happens? One shoka comes, we remove it, then comes another shoka, then we take effort to remove the second one. In that way we keep going. All these shokas are all topical problems. These are the problems that are evident directly. and we have addressed through topical solutions. So this is so far we have seen this. And Gita, what does Gita say? Or what, before even Gita, what does our Shastra say? Our Shastra says there is only one underlying fundamental problem. There is only one underlying fundamental problem which is the cause for all these sorrows. And if we remove this fundamental problem, all topical problems are also resolved. Why should we accept that? Because in Bhagavad Gita, what happened, or in Mahabharata, Arjuna was also in a particular situation. He had a topical problem. His problem was he had to kill his grandfather and guru. They are going to die and he is not able to take that sorrow. And if Bhagavan had to give him an answer to the topical problem, then this Gita itself would be only relevant to people who want to kill their grandfather and their guru. But Gita is seen as a Shastra and is a common book to remove all sorts of sorrows. And our sorrows are different from Arjuna's. Our sorrows are in our lives. Sometimes we also say to people, you don't understand my life. What do you know about the problems that I face? How can you even say that your sorrows are bigger than mine? So our sorrows are different from Arjuna's. And it is also different from millions of others who study Bhagavad Gita also. Everybody has their own set of reasons. And yet Bhagavad Gita seems to have the answer for it. And the reason is Bhagavad Gita addresses this one fundamental problem that is the root cause for all problems. And the solution is also given. What is the solution? The solution is moksha. Moksha, liberation. And we also saw last class, if everybody seems to, this book is there and this book has got a solution for all sorts of problems, then why are not everyone, or we are not seeing all the people attending these classes, Gita classes? Just like everybody feels hunger, and when they are hungry, they get food as they look for food, they take their food, get their relief from hunger. If that's how the problem and solution should work, then I know I have a problem, Gita has the solution, then I go to study Gita, I remove my problem. Shouldn't that be the case for all the people? But that doesn't seem to be the case. In fact, some people are allergic to the word Gita. Some people are allergic to the word Vedanta. They will say, even before coming to this, they will say it is not for us. It is not meant for us. It is meant for retired people. Or if they come for a few classes or one or two classes and they say it's a dry subject. It's a very dry subject. It's not for me. So that's the reason why not everybody is able to get the benefit out of Bhagavad Gita. Now more than that, actually, in fact, forget they not coming to Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan himself says, do not give this knowledge to everyone. In the 18th chapter, he makes it very clear to people, do not take this Bhagavad Gita to people who are not interested. Do not give to unqualified people. And anyway, coming back, why do people not come to Bhagavad Gita? Why do people not come to Shastras? We saw this in the last class also. We have an issue or sickness in our body. To get relief from it, doctor has the solution. Doctor has the knowledge. Doctor has the medicine. But then the doctor having that solution does not help us. Why? Because first step, I have to acknowledge that I have that issue. I have to acknowledge that I have a health problem. I would have not tested myself. I would have ignored the symptoms. So just like I am feeling angry, but I feel that it is not my problem. It is a problem with the people around me. Or I feel jealousy and I feel that problem is people around me. So I may not have recognized the problem in the first place. The second step is, even though if I have recognized, I may choose to ignore it. Okay, I am angry, so what? So are others. Are you correct? Why should I not get angry? I am willing to live with this anger. Just like I am willing to live with this problem. I have a headache headache coming every few days. I am willing to live with that headache. Or some people have this cataract and they are willing to live with the cataract. So I am not even aware there is a problem. Now I am aware, but I am not looking to get out of the problem. Then the third is, of course, I try to go for self-remedy. So I have some mild fever, I will try to take some kashaya, I will take some porridge, I will try to sleep it off, or I may apply some balm. I will try to come out of it myself. Just like when I have this problem of anger or jealousy or pride or greed or what you do, or discontentment, I try to change the external situation. I try to find solutions for the symptoms. Then later on, when my self-remedy does not work, then I go to the doctor, surrender myself. And I trust, when I go to the doctor, I trust that person, I trust that the medicine will cure me. So in the same way, for Vedanta, there are these 4 steps. First is discovery of samsara. I have to acknowledge I have a problem. Then from discovery I have to have the desire to get relief from samsara. The desire to say, I do not want to live with this. I do not want to live with this samsara. I do not want to live a discontented life. I do not want to live a life where I am angry. My mind is agitated. Where my mind is constantly going up and down. So the third step is, of course, I have to I have to understand that I am helpless. And the discovery of samsara does not come automatically to people. It's not that at the age of 30, this will strike you. At the age of 50, this person will have it. Some people, having lived their life until 80, do not even discover their problem of samsara. They think it's normal. And some people at a very early age, even at the age of 20s, they may realize this problem and they may want to come out of it. So it is not age. That's why I said knowledge and experience do not go together. Just because somebody has got experience doesn't mean that they have knowledge. Same thing with the age. With age comes experience, but with experience need not give us the same amount of knowledge. That's why in Vedanta class you may have somebody who are in their 20s also along with their 60s. You may have father and son and grandfather and granddaughter all attending the same class. It doesn't differentiate in terms of age. So I have to discover my helplessness. I should not feel this, I am going to live with it. Or some people have the other way also. They go the other extreme. They take pride in their issues that they face. Say, if I get angry, I will not be human. Or I will, make sure the other person pays for it. I will not let go of this easily. I will get him to pay back. I had given this person back. So these kind of feeling, these kind of things are all samsara. These are feelings that one needs to be ashamed of. But for some people, it acts in a viparita manner. They start taking pride in samsara itself. And the reason for whenever something is understood wrongly, what we have seen in the first chapter, it's called as moha. It's about delusion. So it is a state of delusion. People live in a state of delusion. So because they are deluded, they may not want to come out of samsara. So once we come out, in our spiritual journey also, once we come to this class, once we start understanding all these things, especially in chapter 13, chapter 16, when we saw all those values and we see we are far behind in all those values, we will start feeling bad. We will start feeling sad that about all these bad values that we have, bad characteristics that we have. That is fine. Initially, to have that kind of a guilt feeling at the start is good. Because only if we have a little bit of guilt, we will come out of it. But as we grow further in our spiritual journey, we should let go of the feeling of both guilt as well as hurt. I shouldn't be complaining, this person hurt me 10 years back, and I will not forget the hurt that I received. Neither should I have that guilt feeling, oh, I did this 10 years back. And that guilt could come out of various things. I wish I had taken that job, or I wish I had actually done that particular thing, or I wish I had not spoken that particular word. Those are all those guilt feelings. All those guilt feelings should go. All the hurt feelings also should go. I should not feel this person hurt me or I got hurt, then that should also go. As we spiritually mature, we should let go of these two. So when we are in this spiritual journey, what we should be thanking is Bhagavan, Ishvara, I thank you for the opportunity that you have given me to identify that I am in samsara and that I need to come out. And just please guide me the right path for me to get out of this samsara. This should be our prayer to Ishvara. And our prayer should be like, I want the anger to leave me. I want to get rid of dvesha. I want to remove the hatred for others. I want the delusion to leave me. I want to be a calm person. That desire should keep coming to us. And when we have this desire, we know, we will realize soon that our intellect and our knowledge is not good enough to get us out of samsara. It is not possible. Not possible for any person to get out of samsara without the help of shastras or guru, however good they may be. If there are some people who are exceptions, like a Ramana Maharishi or an Adi Shankara, they have been able to come out because our shastras, we have this concept of the mind and the intellect traveling from one janma to another. So they have been able to get it in their previous janma. They have been able to get their shastras and the guru's knowledge, and thus they have been able to come out of it. Every jiva is born ignorant. The fact that they are born as human beings really means they have not got moksha in their previous life. Because if a person had been liberated in their previous life, they wouldn't be born in the next life. So the fact that they are born means that they have been born ignorant. And of course they would They will get, many people will get moksha within their lives, within their lifetime. So, my knowledge, my experience, my intellect, it will not help. That I should be very clear. Because people say, some people have this feeling, I know I'm in samsara, I will lead a good life, as in, I will not harm anybody. I will live a life of what they will say, quote within quote, I will lead a dharmic life. And it doesn't matter, I will be happy. It doesn't happen. First of all, even to understand dharma, one needs to study shastras. What is dharma? Itself is such a sukshma. It's so subtle. In fact, Bhagavan himself will say, in chapter 3, he'll say what is to be done and what is not to be done is something that very difficult to know. We do not know. It's such a sukshma. So we have to rely on shastras, we have to rely on our sampradaya gurus to take us there. So we have to surrender ourselves to shastras and guru. That is the fourth step. So once we discovered our helplessness, then when we have a desire to come out of it, then we understand that the self-help is not working, then we have to do a surrender or a sharanagati. So this is the 4 steps to spiritual knowledge. Now, let's take, in this case, Arjuna. What has happened to Arjuna? Arjuna has, in these 4 stages, Arjuna has now only come to the first stage. In the first chapter, he has discovered the problem of samsara. So, he has not come to the second stage where he says, I want to come out. Neither, after that he has to say, okay, I will try various ways, and then he has to finally surrender to Bhagavan. He has not done that yet. And therefore, Bhagavan decides to observe silence in the first chapter. He did not speak. Because there is no point in advising a person until the person surrenders. And Arjuna thinks that his conclusion is right. And therefore he decides to actually relinquish the war. He doesn't want to fight the war. He actually throws the bow and arrows. He is seated in the middle of the chariot. Now Bhagavan is waiting patiently. He says, Arjuna, until you become qualified. What is qualified? Qualification is basically coming to the 4th stage. So until you come to the 4th stage, I am not going to give you any solution. So Bhagavan right now is speaking only as a friend. So Bhagavan will wait until Arjuna discovers his helplessness and then does sharanagati. If a person has actually crossed all the 4 steps, then they will be able to grasp and understand Vedanta. Vedanta, even to understand Vedanta, one needs to have a slightly matured mind. Vedanta is not for everybody. As they say, even in Laukika terms, they say, to get wealth, you need to have some wealth. You need to invest some money before you can make the money grow. In the same way, to get punya, you need to have some bit of punya. To actually accumulate punya, you need to have some bit of punya in the first place. In the same way, to get into Vedanta, To understand Vedanta, one needs to have some bit of punya for that mind and intellect to work, to be able to grasp the concepts and to be able to have a liking for the subject. As I said, many people will find Vedanta to be dry. One needs to have some bit of punya to be able to understand these concepts. And only when a person comes to the fourth stage should anybody be discussing Vedanta with that person. So Bhagavan says, do not share Vedanta with everyone. And especially when a person is in sorrow, then at that point of time, if we actually, discuss Vedanta or advice based on Vedanta, their sorrow will only double or triple. Suppose there is a death in the family, somebody's friend's family or somebody's family, and then we go there and then we say, Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya navani grihnati naroparani. They will say that you are an idiot. I am already grieving and you are talking to me all these things. It doesn't make sense to discuss Vedanta at those times. Vedanta is only when the mind is already calm. So same thing. So for making the mind calm, we need Vedanta. But even to get Vedanta in our mind, we need the mind to be somewhat calm in the first place. An agitated mind will not be able to take Vedanta. Remember, the benefit of Vedanta is a calmer mind. But even to make the mind calmer, you need to have a calm mind in the first place. So here Bhagavan does not give any advice. I said the last time also, one of the takeaways from Bhagavan's position there in the first chapter is never advise until being asked. So it is true even in our families. So as elders, never advise unless being asked. So especially when we have sons, grandsons, granddaughters and others, never advise until they ask. Otherwise, once we start advising, people will start running away from us. And in spite of it, if we advise, we can clearly understand our problem of attachment. Because we will advise because we have attachment. Then this is an easy situation for us to understand or basically identify samsara. Where is our samsara? Where we are giving free advice, that is where our samsara is. And remember, when we don't advise, when we keep quiet, people on their own might come to us for advice. That is better than actually giving some advice and they not following it, because it will be even more hurtful for us. Saying, I advised you, and in spite of it, you are not following it. So the less we talk, the more respect we get. So Bhagavan is helpless now. Although he would want to advise Arjuna right now, Arjuna is not in a state where he can take this. So Bhagavan does not talk about his sorrow at all. He does not talk anything with regards to his sorrow, his pain, and what he needs to do to come out of the sorrow. He doesn't do that. So let's see what he says. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, we'll go to the Sloka. Kutastva kashpalamidam vishame samupastitam. Kutaha. Kutaha means from where? From where did Kutastva, Kutahatva, you. Tva means to you. Kashmalam idam kashmalam. So from where did you this dejection? Kashmalam means dejection. Kashmalam is seen, it is used also in Madras Tamil. Kashmalam means actually one which is actually muddled. So here it says this dejection. this cheap delusion. Samupastitam. Vishame samupastitam. Samupastitam means come. Vishame means at the wrong moment. This crucial juncture. You can say this critical moment. So Bhagavan says, from where did this dejection or this delusion come to you at this wrong moment, at this critical juncture? So Bhagavan is basically questioning Arjuna, what's happening to you? From where did you get this dejection? And then in the second line he says, Anarya Jushtam Aswargyam. Anarya Jushtam Aswargyam. Akirti Karam Arjuna. So we'll go from the last. Arjuna, we know Akirti Karam. Akirti Karam means ill fame. So basically Bhagavan says this Kashmalam, this dejection, this sorrow, this delusion of yours will give you ill fame, will not give you fame as long as you live. So you will not get any fame in this world. Ihalokam, you will not get any fame. And remember, Kshatriyas have weakness to fame. Bhagavan will play on this weakness to fame with Arjuna again later in the same chapter. Kshatriyas generally have this weakness to fame. All of us are. Everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants to be known to others. Kshatriyas have even greater weaknesses. They love fame. And you know, right, the kings in those days, they like to be famous. That's why they build all those big architectures. They have this, their names inscribed on walls, stone walls and others. And not only that, some kings have even lost their lives because they wouldn't want to get a bad name for themselves. So we have seen in the southern history, the Pandya king losing his life because he had actually given a wrong judgment on Kannagi's case. So we have these cases where the kings are willing to lose their lives. Even today, even if we go to places where we see, if you donated some place, we want to let know so many people that we have donated, or we want our name to be inscribed somewhere. Some people in the temples have donated tube lights in those days. They would have inscribed their name in the tube light itself. So people want fame, and Kshatriyas are addicted to fame. They have weakness to fame. So Krishna says, Bhagavan says, Akirtikaram, you will get ill fame, you will not get any name. And he says, Aswargyam. So Ihalokam, you will not get fame. Then Paralokam, you will not get Swarga. This, your attitude now, your decision now will not lead you to heaven. So when we are going from last to end, so Akirtikaram, Aswargyam. Now Arjuna might say, I am neither interested in fame nor interested in heaven. I am only interested in liberation, moksha. So Arjuna, Bhagavan says, he is having an answer for that too. He says, Anarya Jushtam. What you are doing is not entertained by noble people. Anarya Jushtam. Jushtam means something that can be done. And Arya means noble people. In our scriptures we use the term Aryan. And some people have taken this as Aryan, Dravidians difference. Aryans are people who have come from Middle East or Central Asia. These are all wrong. Arya means noble person, a cultured person, a civilized person. A thorough gentleman is called as an Arya. So Anarya. So not Anarya Jushtam means not done by noble people. Only low people will do this. So Bhagavan is saying, neither this dejection of yours is neither going to get you fame nor going to get you Swarga, nor will you get Moksha. So this is what Bhagavan says in the second shloka. In the third shloka, he says further things. But when we talk about this Arya Dravida, right? Arya, there is a shloka which is the definition of Arya. It says Kartavyam Acharan Karma, Akartavyam Anacharan, Tishtati Prakrita Kare, Saha Vaha Arya iti Smritaha. So this is the definition of Arya. And from this definition, what it means is, an Arya is a person, Kartavyam Acharan Karma, a person who does what is to be done. Kartavyam Acharan Karma. Akartavyam Anacharan. Anything that is not to be done, he will not do. Tishtati Prakritakare. So he is one who lives the life of Achara. Achara means, we know, Tishtati Prakritachare. Prakritachare means one who lives the life of discipline. Achara means discipline. Saha Vaha Arya iti Smritaha. Such a cultured and disciplined person is called as Arya. So Aryan does not mean fair-skinned person, does not mean he is come from through the Central Asia in horses. It has nothing to do with the place. A definition of an Arya is a person who is cultured, who does what is supposed to be done, who doesn't do what is not to be done, and such a disciplined person who leads a life is called as an Aryan. So a Dravidian may also be an Aryan if he is a cultured person. It has nothing to do with a place or birth or skin or anything of that sort. So this is the Arya definition. Now in the third shloka, Klaibhyam Asmagamah Partha Naita Tvayupapadyate. Tvayu Upapadyate. We will see that in the next class. We'll see Sloka 3 in the next class. Any questions or comments? Okay. We have only 1 minute. Otherwise, I'll give the answer in the over the next class. Quickly.
Excellent commentary, Guruji. Very, very engaging, and you shed thoughts on how all of this, is very relevant to our daily life. And the samsara we all have been, continuously talking about. It gives us good self-reinforcement every time. Thank you.
Okay, you can post the questions in the group. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.